Hey, happy Sunday morning pregame show with Dave and Chuck and Football Beer. That's why we're here. I still have to put it at the top of the screen to remember our new show name, but that's what we're here to talk about. Good Sunday morning to everyone. NFL Week 3. We've got all of our picks for you and some very fun stats from last week's game. So, good morning, Dave. How are you, man?
Good morning, man. I'm good.
It's awesome. So we didn't do. You sent me a text, Sunday. It's like, dude, we're sucking, and we're like 4-9 or something like that. And I'm just gonna throw this up there right now. We're under 500. We're in the NFC East. We don't know if we want to win this thing or not. We haven't decided if we want to win this division, but this is not a good start for us. And so we got to step it up because under 500, we kind of lose our credibility. Not that we ever had any, but we lose our credibility. So, but you know what? There's some real surprising teams in the NFL that I don't think we've obviously, or anyone's really given enough credit to. I don't think a lot of other people's picks were too different from ours. So, but we did. Hey, Kim, good morning. Thanks for joining the show, always being a part of the show each week. Kim, thank you so much. And Amy, thank you for joining. Hope you're doing well. And so at least we started week 3 off with, we're 100% for week 3 right now because Thursday night's game, we both did take the Browns. Of course, Dave posts on Facebook that we were taking the points without enough confidence that, the Browns could actually win the game, and they absolutely did win the game 29-17. So, I guess the Baker Mayfield whole thing is really worked out better for the Browns than it has the Panthers at this point. But what else did you see last week? I mean, any quick thoughts before we get into this week's games?
Just last week, a lot of stats got thrown up. I mean, there was fun stats, and we'll get into some of them when we review this week's games. But a lot of offense. There's a lot of offense last week, I thought, from a lot of teams. So that's kind of a good sign for the season. Usually you see the defenses kind of dominate early in the season while offenses are getting their flow and getting their rhythm together. But a lot of points. So I'm sure the NFL like that. They like seeing a lot of big stats, a lot of big points, especially when fantasy football is so popular. And, a lot of people watch just to see numbers. They want to see those big numbers. So, just kind of interesting, all that high-powered offense already that early in the season.
Well, we wouldn't be before we get into the games. We wouldn't be a football and beer show without the beer. So I almost forgot. So, my segment, Dave's diving in already, but I've got from Lumberyard Brewing out of Flagstaff, Arizona. I can't speak today. Lumberyard Brewing out of Flagstaff, Arizona. I have their Railhead Red Extra Special Ale. It is a 5.6. And I didn't mail it in this week. I actually went out and picked one earlier this week. So, but it's got a really nice color. I've already had a few of them this week, and it's is actually another top of mine for as far as reds go. So we may have to hit Total Wine & More and get some reds for you and do some sampling of my top favorites if I can remember the last one on our show that I said I really liked. So cheers. Thank you, Lumberyard Brewing, for allowing me to purchase this on my own and enjoy it. What about you, Dave? What you got on brew?
The good thing, about if you forget what beers you had, and for everybody, is you can always go back through YouTube or our Facebook page and watch previous episodes and pick up all our beer selections and our picks. So past seasons, I've highlighted this beer before, but it is Frem. So this is from Hood River, Oregon. This is where I took my wife out for our first date. And it's a 5.1 wit. So I have a Whitmer here. So it's nice, light color. Good, easy drinking morning beer, if you will. Good flavor, though. I found this just randomly at a liquor store in town, so I was surprised to see it, so I had to grab it. But yeah, really, really, really good. Would definitely buy it again, I think, for this 16-ounce can, it was $4, so not too bad.
Yeah, very good. Enjoy that. This is, like I said, this is very sweet, very smooth. I really like this one. I'll have to, or if you don't want to go through all the shows, you could always ask Dave because he writes down all the beers that we've ever had on the show for the last 3 years. So I know last year you sent that list out.
Yeah, I'll have to update it and get it to you. So we try not to duplicate beers, but I don't know, sometimes if they're good enough, maybe they hit the list multiple times.
Yeah, I know. I've had one or two that I've redone. Hey, good morning, Jim and Sin. Thanks for joining the show. Always good to see you, our faithful viewers. And so let's get into the games of this week, and we'll do a little bit of recap. I did mention that the Steelers and Browns played Thursday night. The Browns were favored 3.5. We took the Browns on the points, and the Browns won that outright. So another fun game, I don't know if it's a fun game, but another interesting game that's going to be challenging, I think, is the Texans are going to Chicago. The Bears here are favored by less than a field goal, 2.5 points. I'll step out on the bridge first. Actually, let me look over here, make sure I stick with my picks that I made earlier through my in-depth analysis. I'm taking the Bears here at home, and they beat the 49ers in a slop fest a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I think they got something going. I'm taking the Bears. Go Bears.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bears too. I think Roquan Smith, they're good middle linebacker. He was on the injury report, but I think he's going to play, which is big for them. He's the leader of the defense, and I think that defense can do enough to hold down, the Texans. And it's a big game to me for young Justin Fields at quarterback too. It's a home game against a not very good team. It's a game you have to win. Plus, if you win this game, now you're 2-1. The rest of the teams in your division, Packers, Vikings, Lions, they only have one win also. So to stay, in pace with your division, you need to win this game. This is a game you need to win.
Yeah, absolutely. Kim is on board with the Bears. So this is an interesting game. Raiders and going into Tennessee, and the Raiders are favored on the road by less than a field goal. This is obviously this is really who's going to win the game unless somebody's going to miss some extra points. Who do you got in this game?
I have the Raiders. That they'll be without Hunter Renfrow, but I think they have enough other talent around them where I think if you stack the box this year, it looks like, or even if you let Derrick Henry do all right, the Raiders are just, I think, a better team. Plus, Tannehill has nobody to throw the ball to. So if you can stuff Derrick Henry or at least limit him, I don't know how the Titans are going to move the ball very well, and I see the Raiders being able to move the ball better. So I'll take the Raiders.
Just going back a game, Amy doesn't think the Bears are going to pull it off. They don't do must-wins well, so she's going with the Texans. The Texans aren't playing as horribly as we all make fun of them as playing, and so it's definitely a possibility. But you're right, the Bears are still the Bears. They've been inconsistent. They got rid of Mitch Trubisky this year, so they're totally committed with. I mean, there's really no going back. You've got one guy going forward. So, and hey, we're 13-19 after 2 weeks. So 13-19 after 2 weeks. So your picks are probably a lot more intelligent than ours. So, hey, Chiefs and the Colts.
Who was your pick for? You have the Raiders.
Sorry. It doesn't matter. No, I'm taking the Raiders. Yeah, I'm taking the Raiders. And I still think they're better than the Titans. The Titans just look horrible. And as I've said, the whole Tannehill thing should have been a 1-year thing if they needed to pull Marcus and put something else in there, change up the momentum. That's cool, but they should have been done at 1 year. There should be a brand new young quarterback in Tennessee right now, and the coach is just, I think he's afraid that changing it up and losing, he'd be out of there. But he's going to be out of there anyway because Tannehill was never going to win you a championship ever. All right. So Kim has already got her pick in. So, all right, Chiefs and the Colts. And in Indianapolis, Chiefs are favored by just under a touchdown. But still would be a touchdown. And I don't think this – and the Colts just don't look good. I'm taking the Chiefs here.
Yeah, Chiefs, I mean, you're wondering how they do without Tyreek Hill. I think they're just fine. They're still putting up numbers. The Colts are banged up. Don't think they'll have Shaq Leonard, their defensive captain at linebacker. Buckner may or may not play also again, so he's their main defensive lineman. They haven't looked good. Matt Ryan had 3 interceptions last week. Chiefs look great. Colts look like hot garbage, so I'm going to take the Chiefs for sure.
Yeah, this should be much more than a touchdown. Chiefs just didn't look good last week after a big win in Arizona, and so maybe it's just a fluke, just like hopefully the Cardinals' first game was a fluke. So, but yeah, this should be a lot more than a touchdown for sure. All right, moving on down the list, we have our probably Super Bowl champion Bills going into the Dolphins there in Miami. I'm going to let you pick this game first.
Man, this is a tough one. I mean, Miami they put up so much offense last week. I mean, you had Tua throwing for 469 yards last week against Baltimore. Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill were the first teammate receivers ever in a game to catch at least 11 passes apiece. Both had 2 touchdowns apiece and over 150 yards apiece, with Tyreek Hill getting 190. So amazing stats. So it's just kind of skewed. I don't think the Bills are going to let Tua have a day like that. I don't think the Bills defensive line, I think, is going to give Tua a lot of problems. And the Bills just look amazing in the first 2 games. So can you keep that up, that type of dominance? And I'm going to say, yeah, they can. I think the Bills, just how good they've been playing, I think they pull it out by a touchdown on the road against Miami. I'm not sold on Miami yet. I mean, the Ravens allowed them so many points. I just don't see the Bills being like Baltimore was last week.
So I think is it Micah Hyde, the safety for the Bills, injured, out.
Yeah.
A lot of offense. I think that the Dolphins have maybe found a little bit of something, being aggressive, doing this. I mean, they realistically shouldn't have been able to beat the Ravens last week. They were so far down, and I blame the Ravens for just collapsing in that game. But everybody is on board with the Bills. It looks like, Amy, I don't think Tua can keep up with Josh Allen. You're probably right, and for that reason alone, I'm taking the Dolphins. And so I'm going to step out there on the ledge, and it's 5.5. So then keep it within a field goal. It's a win for me. So. You know what? I'm just going to go out there, and
I think that's a good win for you to pick one up too, because I mean, I was close to picking the Dolphins just because they were so impressive, but the Bills have been even more impressive consistently. Sure. So that's why.
Oh yeah. I mean, it should be the Bills, but last week it should have been the Ravens, and it wasn't. So So anyway, I'm going to take the Dolphins there, and. Amy says that she needs Isaiah McKenzie to actually play better for the Bills. All right, so moving right on down. They don't need to play this game. Anyway, the Lions and the Vikings. The Lions came out with a win last week, which is, good on them. I watch Hard Knocks and just watching that show. I mean, they're the Lions, but still watching that show gives you, it's like, you almost want to pull for the team. And I don't, here are the Vikings. Oh, wait, did I really do that? I put my name on the Lions. I'm going to let you pick. No, no, I'm not going to be that dumb. I'm taking the Vikings. That's the typo.
Yeah. I mean, the Lions had good signs last week. Jared Goff threw for 4 touchdowns. Their number 1 pick Aiden Hutchinson, the number one pick of the NFL draft coming into this year. Had 3 sacks, led the NFL last week with 3 sacks. So if you're the Lions, you can't ask for any more. Your quarterback throws for 4 touchdowns, you win. Your number one pick has 3 sacks. That looks all great. But I also think the Vikings just played terribly kind of last week. Dalvin Cook was barely part of the game, which I think today is going to be I'm looking for a big bounce back game for Dalvin Cook, just because he's so good and a professional that I don't think the Lions will be able to limit him like that. Yeah, that's right. I agree with Amy there. So I'm going to take the Vikings also. Justin Jefferson, Thielen. The Lions, like I said, kind of last week, and I'll keep saying probably every week, until they can show me they're actually legit more than 1 week against a okay team. Right. I just can't pick them. And the Vikings at home, they have good home field advantage there too.
Yeah, no, I agree. This should be a lot more than 6. So the Ravens, who blew a big lead against the Dolphins last week, I don't know if they'll do this again. No, I'm going to jump out there. I don't know if I picked first last, but I'm going to jump out there and just take the Ravens here. I know the Patriots came back last week, but the Ravens. This has got to be kind of almost a grudge match, just to show up and say, no, we're not like we played last week, and because they should have won that game. I mean, we talk about how big a game it was for Tua and Tyreek and Waddle, and the records that were set. But the Ravens literally fell apart in that game, and not taking anything away from what the Dolphins did, but the Ravens had a commanding lead and should have been able to close out that game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I'm going to take the Ravens also. The Patriots have a lot of injuries, especially at wide receiver. Don't know, Meyer's going to play today, their number one receiver. Still, got Mac Jones, who's a young player. They do have good, decent running backs, Stevenson, Harris. But I just see too much offense from Lamar Jackson. Last week, he was the first quarterback ever to have a 70-plus touchdown run and a 70-plus touchdown pass. He also passed Michael Vick for the most 100-yard games rushing by a quarterback in their career. So he has 11 now. He rushed for 119 yards last week. Just all the stuff that Lamar Jackson can do, and me not seeing the Patriots as that great of a team, not especially on offense, I don't think they'll be able to score with them. So I'm going to take the Ravens.
Okay, we're all on the same page there, except with Amy and Kim. Our fans are taking the Patriots, so could be a good pick. No, it should be. I mean, but when you're grading a team mostly on their coach, it's probably not, for me, not the time I'm necessarily going to pick a team to win just because of their coach. He's a phenomenal coach, but I don't know that they have the talent right now to make a playoff run. And I'm looking at the Ravens should make the playoffs. So, for that, I would take the Ravens alone. But my probably new Super Bowl pick, Eagles, they played lights out last week, but they're going to be in DC playing the Commanders. Were they playing DC? They're going to go headed out of town and not too far away, and it'll be a short trip. And but they're favored by 6.5 on the road. Who do you got here?
This is a tough one for me because of the spread. Wentz did throw for 337 yards last week, and he had a decent first week. So Washington's been moving the ball. But 6.5. That's a lot. But I do think the Eagles might be that sneaky team this year. That's one of those NFC teams that kind of surprises and maybe wins that NFC East division. As maybe gets more wins than people thought going into the season. They're one of my kind of sleeper teams. I think I'm going to have to take the Eagles. I can't trust Wentz, even though he's done pretty well. And it's his old team that let him go, who he's playing, 2 teams ago now, since he was with the Colts last year. So I think I'm going to take the Eagles.
Okay. I don't know if I said the wrong thing and put the wrong thing up but I did actually skip a game, and some fans or viewers are calling that game. So I might have said the wrong thing and put the wrong thing up or
all over it.
But so what I should have actually clicked was the Bengals are going to New York to play the Jets, and the Bengals are favored on the road, even though they are, I believe, winless still, coming out of the Super Bowl. But Bengals look like crap. Jets win last week. I don't know. Who did I put down the Bengals still. I'm just gonna they got to get it together. They're the same team. There's no reason they can't play like they did last year. And I don't think they have a formula that teams had to really prepare for. Like they didn't have, come out with some fancy stuff last year that won them games here and there, trickery or anything like that. Yeah, I'm taking the Bengals.
Yeah, I got the Bengals too. I think it has to be a bounce back game. You're not a bad team, like you said. You got the same roster. You have good position people on offense. Your defense should be solid enough to take out 97-year-old Joe Flacco, who Joe Flacco did throw 4 touchdown passes and had the amazing comeback last week, but I'd chalk that up to the Browns just dropped the ball on that. I mean, the Cougars looked like that yesterday against the Ducks. I mean, you thought they had it in hand, and then at the end, it's like, oh my gosh, what's happening? How did this happen? So yeah, I just think that was kind of a fluke last week for the Jets. I'm gonna go with the Bengals.
Yeah, that was you texted me about the Ducks game, and we were doing some house remodeling stuff yesterday afternoon, and so after you texted me, I turned the game on in the fourth quarter with like 5 minutes left in time.
You're welcome.
Yeah, exactly. To see the Ducks score like 21 points in like 2 minutes and 47 seconds or something like that, and still they had a bigger 10-point lead, and they gave away the 7 right there at the end of the game with no time left. But still, they had to fight for it. So anyway, go Ducks. All right, so let me get back on track here. Skip down one. So now we have the Saints. Oh, did I pick? I did pick the Bengals.
Did you pick your Philly-Washington pick?
Eagles. Oh yeah, I'm definitely taking the Eagles. I really like what I've seen in their defense, and the offense is clicking, but I really like what I see in the defense there. So the Saints and going to Carolina. Oh, the lowly Panthers. Who do you got here?
Saints get Alvin Kamara back. I don't know if he'll be limited on touches or how many plays he's going to get in, but they'll have Kamara back. He needs to pick it up for sure. Winston is throwing the ball around pretty well, but he did have 3 interceptions last week, tied for the league lead last week with Cousins and Matt Ryan. I haven't seen anything out of the Panthers. I mean, McCaffrey hasn't really got going yet this season. He's done a little bit, but he's not the old, how many years ago now, McCaffrey? 3-4 years ago, McCaffrey? Baker doesn't seem to be the answer, really. Their receivers aren't doing him a whole lot of good. He's good for one big broken play, usually a game. That's about what I'm seeing. I think I just have to take the Saints. The Saints have decent defense, more weapons. I'm going to take the Saints.
Okay. So far our viewers are doing the same thing, taking the Saints. Right. Just it's really a coin flip, right? I don't really want to pick the Saints, but I'm going to, and just along with everyone else, because I just haven't seen anything from the Panthers yet that says they're going to be competitive in any way. And you have a good quarterback and you have a good running back. I mean, and yes, the receivers may not be top tier. Offensive line, defense. I mean, I guess there's a lot of missing pieces still in Carolina, and I guess you look back when they brought back Cam Newton last year, and he wins his first game back and cries, or yells at the TV that I'm back, and that was pretty much it. And, because there just wasn't enough team around him to. It's a debatable good QB. I still have faith that he is a good quarterback, but I don't fault him for everything in Cleveland. But he's kind of he's got kind of a wild arm but I think he can. I think he's better than. I think people get down on him a lot. I'm trying to hold out for him a little bit. But the only thing that's going to win games in Carolina is McCaffrey and Mayfield. And if the team is trying to be coached up in any other way, then they won't win any games. If they're not focused on Baker, you have to win it, and Christian, you have to win it. That's all it is. That's all they have in Carolina. So Saints. Moving on down, Jaguars and Chargers. We do have a banged up Justin Herbert, who last I checked is still expected to play today, and torn rib cartilage last week, still stayed in. Gutsy ass guy. He earned a lot of points, but they should have pulled him out of the game. But he drove them down and score a touchdown near the end of the game, hurt and everything. I think that's going to go a long ways in his career and his maturity and his team to suck it up when they're feel like they're hurt or injured but still, even if he didn't play, I'd take the Chargers here by 7.
Yeah, they're at home. Jack's Moscow clear across the country, play on the other coast, young team. They played well last week, but I got to go with the Chargers. I see this as a big Eckler game, just because you do have injured ribs on Justin Herbert. So, check downs, a lot of handoffs. I would like to see the Chargers play a tougher brand of ball to limit Herbert's, kind of him getting hit or potentially getting hit or having to move around too much. So hopefully they play some, more run-based ball today with Eckler. And then the defense, I just see Bosa and Mack really putting pressure on that young quarterback Lawrence enough that, they'll mess him up enough. The Jaguars don't have a ton of weapons on offense, and, J.C. Jackson, I think, can take out their number one receiver. So, gotta go with Kim's Chargers.
Yep, Kim always going to take the Chargers, even if, and that's what a fan does. So, Amy didn't quite agree with us on this. I agree they should have pulled him out of the game. Hands down, should have pulled the guy out of the game. As a coach, thinking of the next game, and but I also see a lot of he could have pulled himself out also, and he wanted to get it. He wanted to stay in there for the team. I absolutely respect that, and I think it goes a long way with his players in the long run. But he could have got injured worse and been out for the season. So it's a real gamble there. But I think it was a good gamble, although it didn't work out. Anyway, all right, moving on. The home game here for me today is the Rams and the Cardinals. So 2 1-1 teams, and Cardinals, who were favored by like 5.5 last week, and just sat down in the first half and needed to do what the Ducks did, basically, and score a lot of points quickly, and came out with a win last week, and it just turned into the Kyler Murray show late. So I think that if anything, Arizona just needs to kind of go with that earlier. And, I'm just going to stay at home here. I'm taking Arizona, pull this out. I mean, it is more than a field goal. That's the kicker.
Yeah.
That is a kicker. So that this is more than a field goal and where I could possibly lose this game. But yeah, Matt Ryan's. I mean, not Matt Ryan. Matt Stafford is going to be good for a couple of interceptions this game. So hopefully we can capitalize on those on defense and turn those into points. So taking the Cardinals.
All right, I'm going to take the Rams just to differ with you, just because we've only had one game where we differ, and this might be it. Cardinals give up a lot of passing yards. Cooper Kupp had 11 receptions last week, like he does every week, I guess. The only thing I would say that benefits definitely the Cardinals is how elusive Kyler Murray is. Aaron Donald, he's a problem up the middle, but Kyler's so good moving around and gets out of the pocket that if you had a pass rusher and your best pass rusher, going against Kyler Murray, I think Arizona doesn't mind that he's right in the middle of the field, because that's not where Kyler Murray stays. He didn't stay. Like Amy said in her comment, Kyler ran 84 yards back and forth the field over 20 seconds long for a 2-point conversion last week. It's like the longest 2-point conversion in the history of the league. He ran 84 yards to get 2 yards, and it took him over 20 seconds. So, that elusiveness, I think, definitely helps you in the Cardinals. But just to take a different pick this week, I'm gonna pick the Cardinals. But I could definitely see, because of that 0.5, you're right. That 0.5 could be a big 0.5
for you.
Yep. Yeah, for me.
So yeah. You know what? The Rams aren't. I mean, again, you have to shut down Cooper Kupp, which is not an easy task. I mean, every week you go into, hey, we have one thing to do today. Yeah. One thing to do. Hey, 52 guys, listen up. Coaches, listen up. This is all we have to do. We have to stop Cooper Kupp. That's all. I buy ice cream for everyone if we can keep Cooper Kupp under 50 yards today, and you can't. Right? It's like that is the game plan every coach goes into, because where else is Matt Stafford going to go? Higbee, of course, tight end, but you're playing a short game, which I think turns into an advantage for other teams when they slow the game down like that. Kupp could have a huge game. So anyway, Arizona has some offensive weapons out there as well. I was really impressed. James Conner got banged up a little bit in the second half last week, and they had two other running backs come in, and one of them is also, I think, their punt and kick returner. I was thoroughly impressed with their running. They're not strong runners, but they're slashy runners, more like the guy that left. Why can't I think of his name? Say you're gone. I forget your name. You're leaving us. You're gone. The running back that was in there before Connors, that was the starting.
Chase Edmonds.
Thank you. So anyway, this was obviously a hot topic. Everybody's got a comment on this game. Yes, hope for the Cardinals. Thank you, somebody on my side, because they live here.
She's your mother-in-law.
Yes, it is their defense. It definitely is their defense. So we'll see. All right, we gotta move on and get these last few games out of the way. So Falcons going to Seattle, and Seahawks are favored at home by 2. It means a field goal. Yeah, I mean, wins this for the Falcons. Who do you got here?
Man, this was a tough one. You got Mariota going back to the Pacific Northwest, where he'll probably get a little bit of love over in Seattle. You might see some duck hats there in the stands in Seattle, even though their Huskies are playing really well this year. Man, this is a tough one. I really want to pick Atlanta. I want to, but I just can't. I mean, Seattle at home, they do have a win. Geno Smith isn't looking terrible. He really isn't. He's got weapons with Metcalf and Lockett, veteran there, and they got, Penny can run the ball okay. I think this is a home win Seattle needs to win. And I haven't seen enough. Marcus isn't playing bad, but they're not playing great. So the Falcons are really necessarily winning, but they're not losing by a lot. They're in every game, but they're just not pulling it off yet. I think I have to take the Seahawks at home. Give me that field goal advantage, home advantage points. So I'm going to take the Seahawks.
Okay. I'm actually going to let Amy pick my team this week, my pick. And sorry, Whit, I think your Hawks are going down today. Yeah, I'm absolutely taking the Falcons. You know, the Falcons did win or lose last week. And but let me start that over. The Falcons did lose last week, but they did almost come back and beat the Rams. I mean, it was 31-27 at the end of the game. And when everybody's picking the Rams to, maybe get back and repeat, for the Falcons to come in and they just need to obviously pick up kind of like where Arizona was, It's like maybe we need to be doing something earlier in the game. You go with the game plan, and maybe it's just a wrong game plan. And
Got to use Kyle Pitts. Kid's only caught like 4 passes in 2 games, and he's their best. Besides Patterson, he's the only offensive weapon they have on the field.
We got a comment battle going on. Fight between Whitney and Amy. No, Whitney's at home with her Seahawks, of course. But yeah, this is a game that I think that I think the Falcons can win this game, and I'm taking the Falcons. Yeah, absolutely. I feel good about that pick. I'll be right one of these days. I'm 0-2 on the Falcons so far, but I will be right one of these days, and I'll say, see, I told you. It's what I did with the Rams, because I was a Rams fan since I was 12 years old, and every year I'd say, Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. Rams are going to win the Super Bowl, and they sucked. Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. But then the 1999-2000 year came along, and I said the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl, and they won the Super Bowl. So at least, I looked good for that 1 year, so some week in this season, I will look good by picking the Falcons. And
wasn't that the Super Bowl we watched together with some new friends you had in an apartment that didn't care about the Super Bowl and was driving us friggin' crazy?
So. I think so. Yeah, and
they're talking about this, that, and the other, and eating appetizers, and they weren't even watching the game. That was the worst Super Bowl party I'd ever attended.
Sorry. It was 22 years ago. You can't let it go, Dave.
Northern Californians. Their fancy hors d'oeuvres. Not watching the game.
Oh, oh gosh. Well, I don't know who they are.
We've learned our lesson. We've learned our lesson.
So Packers Bucks, you were talking about earlier how this game isn't on, kind of network television today, and probably should be, with two of the top quarterbacks, in history, I guess, if you want to say. But Packers Bucks, I got to look and see who I picked. I took the Bucks because they're just a stacked team. Why they're playing close games, I don't know. They need to figure it out. We were talking, pre-show about, Brady and Giselle needs to figure the off-field thing, and so Tom can focus on football, or he needs to retire. I mean, I think that's what it all, I said it was all about is, he retired. They were probably happy as a family. And then he said, nah, I'm going to go back for another year. And now there's turmoil in Disneyland. But anyway, taking the Bucks by 2.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bucks by 2 mainly because when I saw the Packers win, it was not because of Aaron Rodgers. It was because of Jones in the backfield. Last week, he led the NFL with 132 rushing yards. You got Devin White in that, defense, Shaq Barrett in that defense for the Bucks. Levante David, you have really good defenders over there for the Bucks to limit Jones. And I still don't think the Packers have the wide receiver firepower. They get Lazard back, which is good today, but who knows how well he'll do in his first game of the season since he missed the first 2 with injury. So I got to take the Bucks. It's only by 2. They're at home. They have the defense to shut down, a lot of what the Packers do, I think.
Kim's taking the Packers, and Amy makes a strong case, and not really aware of this. She's obviously we need to have you on the show one week, Amy, and do your picks and analysis live, because you definitely come with some fantastic information. But yeah, if you have Edwards and Godwin out, and perhaps Julio, I thought Fournette was going to play. They did pick up Beasley. So a little slot receiver over the middle there, tough guy, but is he gonna break it open? I mean, he's that guy that just always seems to be open, and not having played for a little bit or practiced much. We'll see how he plays, but so Amy's down with it. It sounds like Sunday 10.
She lives close to you, so when I'm
Yeah.
over there, she wants to come over for the
Oh,
live
there we
feed
go.
on Sunday. We'll do some breakfast. We'll do the show.
Is it Sunday the 8th?
The 8th. Yep, October 8th is Sunday.
Because
when I'll be over there. But we might be going also to the Eagles Cardinal game.
But that's the 9th.
That'll be on the afternoon.
Sunday is the 9th.
Oh, is
Sunday
it?
Sunday is the 9th.
So the 9th, yeah.
So I will be at the Eagles Cardinals game on the 9th. So maybe what we could do is move our show to Saturday. Because
or we could just do it from the tailgate.
Yeah, we could do that too. And so yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, maybe we need to get together and do our show all together, and invite Amy. And you're counting the days down to 10-9. So yeah, so I will
think
be.
Amy would mind coming in and tailgating at least. She seems like she'd be down to tailgate.
So look forward to it. All right, we got one more game, or actually two more games. So tonight we see the 49ers and the Broncos at Mile High Stadium. So 49ers, I got to go back. It's not great to toot my horn when I didn't actually do it. But last week on our show, when we were picking the 49er game, I was this close to saying that Garoppolo was going to play this game or in this game. And it wasn't because of injury though. It was going to be because of horrible play. But I just had a feeling last week in the show that Garoppolo was going to play in the game. And of course, as it turns out, they did play and they won. And I honestly think the team is quite happy with this guy at quarterback. I really do. I mean, they were excited for it. I mean, it's just, I think the players may have wanted something different than ownership, Yeah,
I mean, they like him. They like him in the locker. That might have been a lot of why he didn't leave. I mean, there's a lot of news coming out that Washington was going to trade for him instead of Wentz, but he had a shoulder surgery, so there were some teams that were going to grab him that didn't take him because of his shoulder surgery. But it's all worked out for San Francisco. I mean, they kept him. They have a number one quarterback as their backup. Now he's there, and yeah, the team rallies around him. He knows the system. He's won a lot of big games. He's gone far into the playoffs, the Super Bowl with them. I mean, the guy he's not going to put up 350 yards a game and 4 touchdowns or anything like that. But that's actually one of my fantasy football team's names is Jimmy G Strings.
funny.
They like the Jimmy GQ and all that. And another big reason I'm of course taking the Niners as a Niner fan today. It's a low point spread going against Russell, what have you. But I think we have a good enough defense to limit Russell, especially since you just have to worry about his pass. They don't have a big run game there yet in Denver. And we get my man, heavyweight champion tight end of the world, George Kittle, back today.
Wait, so Kittle is back?
We get Kittle back today. And I think that will help open up a lot of things because he runs the seams. He opens up a lot for other receivers. It'll only help Debo and Ayuk even more. But yeah, I gotta take my Niners here on the road in Denver.
I have to get in real quick and who do I play? Oh, I'm definitely playing. I got to get Kittle off the bench. There we go. Done. Thanks for that update. So I updated my fantasy, and I'm still projected to lose to Chev by 2 points. I haven't won yet this year. My whole new way of drafting has not yet worked out, and I have great players. And it just hasn't worked out. But I've had Zach Ertz really as my number 2 to Kittle. So now that Kittle's back in, I was able to get a couple extra projected points putting him in. Anywho, on my other team, I could not play Kittle because the tight end for can't pronounce his name for the Steelers. He already played, so I'll have to put Kittle in next. Fincham or no, I was like P something. I thought. Anywho, I'm taking the Niners here as well. I just think that the Garoppolo effect is going to be in play. And thank you, Freiermuth. Thank you. He's my tight end in my other, or has been with Kittle on the bench injured. But yeah, I mean the Garoppolo effect is going to be in play. The Broncos, I think the Broncos are just like this. I'm not to badmouth the Seahawks, but I don't see how they got better. I mean, yeah, they won a game, but I don't see how they got better just with Russell Wilson. So, definitely take the 49ers here. All right, last game of the week. What's funny is I thought I did. I must not have hit enter to put on the lower third for this last game, but why wouldn't you want to forget about the Cowboys? So I had to just put them in real quick and from the list. So they play tomorrow night. The Giants are 2-0. And, I mean, this is a division game. And I think I looked. Yeah. So the Eagles and the Giants are 2-0. And the Cowboys, because of points for and against, are in last place in the NFC East. I'm gonna enjoy picking the Giants in this game, and just because. I mean, the Cooper Rush thing worked out for the Cowboys last week. I mean, and now there's already QB talk about the future. Are we done with Dak Prescott? Is Cooper the future? I think whoever wins football games in Dallas is going to be the future. So, but I'm still going to take the G-men here.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Giants too. I think maybe they can smell blood in the water against one of their rivals, division rival Cowboys. And they're 2-0, so they're sneakily winning games. You haven't heard a lot about them. You're not hearing about Daniel Jones that much. Barkley's back, and he's been playing pretty efficiently the first two games for them. They do still need some more firepower to help Daniel Jones as far as receiver. Maybe Tony can get in the mix more. You got Shepard there. But they're doing enough to win. And so if they're at home and it's only 2.5, there's no reason they can't win this on prime time at home by a field goal over a Cowboy team that's still, who knows, it's not like Rush lit up the world. He did enough to not make mistakes and win. But I'm going to take the Giants too.
Well, very good. So, hey, we've made it through week 3. Hopefully, Dave and I can get above 500 this week in our picks, and we have 6 games to make up. We're sucking it, man, and
it's early.
It's early, and we'll definitely make up those games. Hey, I just want to thank everyone. What a fantastic interactive show this week. That's what we love, is to have you guys be a part of the show. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Jim and Cindy. Thank you so much, Amy and Whitney, for being here today as well and giving us your thoughts. And Dave, look forward to you being here on the weekend of the 7th. Hopefully we can tailgate for sure, and hopefully we can pick you up a ticket for that weekend and can join us at the game against the Eagles. So any last thoughts for the week?
That's cool. I look forward to heading over there in a couple weeks, and I know you have a big day celebrating your wife today. It's her birthday, so have a great day with your wife celebrating her birthday. And I hope everyone has just a fun Sunday. And I gotta really prep up Frem Brewing in Hood River, Oregon, because that was an easy drinker. I mean, I'm going to have to go back for these because I had no problem as my breakfast beer of the day. So, I mean, went down easy, went down smooth. I would definitely get that again. So, yeah, props to Frem Brewing in Hood River, Oregon. That was a great wit.
Awesome. No, I'll have to look for that one and see if that's available anywhere around here. But thank you, Lumberyard. And this was also, so I'll make sure I'll try to remember to have some of this around when you're here. This red, I know you like the ambers. So I'm just looking for, I can't wait to get next week. Actually, we'll be into the new month and I can start drinking some porters again, get into that fall scene. And so I can get back into my porter and stout mode for the fall and the winter. So, and next month will be some October brews. So I've already been looking at them, eyeing them. So, all right, fans, thank you, and viewers. And Whitney's like, I love that beer. Amy says, happy birthday, Leela. Whitney says, happy birthday, Leela. She's in the other room. So thank you. And I believe she heard me, and I'll say it again when I get off. So anyway, thanks everyone. We'll see you next Sunday at 9 a.m. on the West Coast, and have a fantastic sports day, everyone.